Hey guys! So after competitions like the one I did, weight gain is really common. I shouldn't even say really common. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. You know, when you are that lean, it's not something you can maintain at all. You go crazy. You have to put some more weight on, get to a healthier weight. Now, whether that's a couple pounds or, you know, go in 20, 30 pounds, it just depends on the person. Whether someone who needs to stay relatively lean throughout the year for work because they have photo shoots and stuff like that, or if someone's just going back to, you know, their body's natural set point. You know, for some people that could even be heavier than others. It just really depends on the person. I just kind of wanted to talk about my experience with the post-show weight gain, you know, how I felt about it, and was this the natural path for me, and stuff like that. So let's get into it. So the last time that I weighed myself going into my show, I can't remember if it definitely wasn't show day because I didn't bring the scale with me, but I can't remember if it was like the day before, or I can't exactly remember when the last time I weighed myself, but I was about 112 pounds. So that's just the weight that I use when I'm trying to see how much weight I've gained post-show. As you saw, I am 135 pounds right now. So that's about a 22-pound increase. I personally was hoping to stay in like the 10-pound increase, stay in the 120s, but I definitely had some issues with my reverse diet. I have to say, was a total flop. Now, I have reverse dieted before. I think I reverse dieted for, it was a long time. It was almost 3 months. I want to say it was 2.5 months of reverse dieting, because I did my first reverse diet really slowly. Like, it was usually you do like maybe 100 calories per week. I was doing like 50 calories every 2 weeks. I was going super slow with it, adding food back just really slowly. I didn't have a problem with it at all. and I jumped straight from like going out a few times eating all the chocolates at work, and I was able to stop cold turkey, no issues whatsoever, and reverse diet by only doing 50 calories extra every 2 weeks. So I never thought reverse dieting was going to be an issue at all. And it wasn't because and I shouldn't say the reverse diet itself I failed. I think it was just I couldn't control my binges. And so that just automatically put me into a caloric surplus every time I did it. And I just did it so often that I just gained weight very quickly. But so I don't know if I would say the reverse diet, like the actual increasing my calories by 100 every week, because it was never because I was hungry. It was just, I want to eat whatever I want. Sweets, basically. And I couldn't be like, okay, I'll just eat like one cookie, and then because I wanted something sweet, and then that'll take care of the craving and I'll be fine. And then literally 30 minutes later, I would have already eaten the entire box or multiple cookies to where I'm like full. So I don't want to say I failed the reverse diet. I just think I couldn't control my binges, and that was definitely from being super restricted in my diet. Like I said, I was aiming for the 10 pounds over, wanted to be in the 120 range. I think in the beginning I was mad at the weight gain, but it came more from just being frustrated that I suddenly had no control over myself when I had been nearly perfect for the whole year. Like, I started this all the way back last August, and I could count it on my hand the amount of times I broke, and maybe two or three of them were actually sort of bad. The other two were nothing to bat an eye at. So from being able to control myself, you know, have this really nice strong resolve for a whole year, and then just to see that fly out the window in less than 24 hours, it was more frustrating. And I think that's where the anger came in. Not that I was really angry with myself. I think it was just more of a frustration, like, what the hell is going on? Why can't you get your shit together? As the weeks went on, I just kind of took it into perspective, and I put it into perspective, and it was like, it's not, don't worry about the weight gain. That's just gonna make you feel worse about yourself. What you need to do is you need to figure out what's causing it. And obviously that was really easy to figure out, that it was most likely the restriction and how low my calories were. But then I kind of was like, all right, you know why this is happening. Now you kind of need to figure out how to get control again. And you don't focus on the weight gain, focus on how you can get control of it again. Because if I just focused on the weight loss, I would be like, I need to go back into another cut. I need to get back to the weight I want to be at, and get back to a healthy body fat percentage. And it's that's not what I need to be focusing on right now. Right now, I need to be focusing on my recovery. I need to just be letting my body relax, not going jumping right back into another diet literally 2 months after being severely restricted for 6 months. Like, that's absolutely insane. And it wasn't like a little deficit that grew into a bigger deficit. It started at a pretty big deficit that was supposed to have a diet break and go back to maintenance, which never happened. It just went to a more severe deficit. So 6 months in a pretty severe deficit, your body needs to recover from that. And so just me focusing on you gained so much weight would just then make me want to be like, you need to diet again. And that's not what I need to be thinking about. That's not what I need to be focusing on. I need to recover. So not only just let my body recover and adjust, but let my mind recover. Because obviously something's wrong. If I'm binge eating, something is wrong. So I still struggle a bit. I had a few wins where I can just have like one treat and then stop and then I'm good. And then there are others where I'm like 5 cookies in and I'll just be like, what did you just do? Where did that come from? Like, I blanked out. Like, there was no thought process at all. And then like I come to and I'm like, you weren't supposed to eat 5. One would have been fine. You ate literally half the box. What were you thinking? It was like, it was blank. I wasn't thinking anything. There were no thoughts going through my head. And so just trying to figure out why that's happening and trying to figure that out, I'm still trying, I still get it. Is it as often? No, I don't think it's as often. I'm definitely starting to dial it back, but for me, the weight gain, for the most part, my clothes still fit me. I don't really notice them being like tighter necessarily. They were definitely very loose on me. I showed plenty of clips where like my workout pants weren't fitting me anymore. They now fit. So it's not like I'm ballooning out and it's too tight. I can't button anything. Like, I still fit into my clothes. I'm back to my weight. As of right now, I was 135. So I'm about 3 pounds over the weight I was when I started the deficit. So I went into, not my deficit, my prep. So I'd done my 10-week cut, and then obviously I stayed in a deficit. But then when I was 12 weeks out, I was about 132 pounds. So I'm 135 now, so that's only 3 pounds above what I was at the beginning of my prep. Not too bad. I was pretty happy about that weight and being that size at my 12-week mark. So I just like, you know what, it's bad to you right now because you were so small before, but just remember, when you were 12 weeks out, you were very happy to be at this weight and this size. So it's always just like trying to remind myself, like, you're fine. You're not giving up. You haven't completely thrown in the towel and saying, I'm just gonna eat whatever I want. No, like, granted, it might be every day that I have to be like, all right, we're starting over. And it might feel like I'm starting over all the time. And like, if you had just stuck to it, we'd be 6 weeks loving life. But, it doesn't happen like that. And as long as you don't give up, there's still hope. It's just I can't give up. I have to keep, and it really is, again, frustrating when it's like, all right, we're gonna start over. Today's gonna be a new day. And then I mess up that day. I'm like, all right, today's a new day. We're gonna start over. And then it just goes in circles and it feels like it never ends. I'm like, I've restarted literally every day this week. And it's so frustrating, but I can't let myself quit. I can't let myself give up and just throw in the towel. I can't. That's not how I'm gonna see progress. Yeah, it could be super frustrating. It might take time. A lot of time. It's gonna be a lot of restarting, falling off the wagons, getting back on the wagon, but I'm capable of doing this, and it's just a lot of reminding myself that I'm able to do it. When I'm in the gym, I've noticed I definitely prefer wearing like t-shirts as opposed to like the tank tops I like always wear. I definitely feel a little more comfortable because I do personally feel very full. Seeing myself in the mirror sometimes, especially mostly in the gym, makes me a little uncomfortable because when I did wear like my old gym clothes, like you could see how lean I was and I was like, yeah, looking good. But now like it's just very present because I'm like in tank tops and shorts or crop tops and I'm just like, I don't want to see that though. I mean, that's just for me personally, I have to kind of get to relearn and re-love my body with the way it looks. I'm not there yet, but yeah, so I'm definitely more comfortable in t-shirts. And this is something I just started doing like last week too, and I just realized I felt a lot better working out than when I was in like my tank tops and stuff. Other than that, I think the only other thing that kind of is frustrating to see is other competitors, because I follow a lot on social media, and like they're coming out of their shows, they're going into their reverse diets, and there's this one, and this is nothing against her, it's just frustrating for me to see. Obviously she should not not post it because it makes me frustrated, absolutely not, but just to see her complaining like, oh, I was so uncomfortable showing like this progress pic, I'm 4 weeks post show, I'm 5 pounds up, and it's just a whole post about like, you know, obviously it's important to gain weight post show so you can grow and, you know, build a better body so you can do better next time, and so you have to gain to build, and you know, but just one part, like I didn't even want to be like do a bikini pic because I'm 5 pounds up, and she had like the post show photo and like the current photo, and it was literally like a Where's Waldo of where's the 5 pounds, and it's just like, yeah, that must be really tough, 5 pounds, wow, and here I am sitting at 22. Yeah, but obviously for me, when I gained my first 10 pounds, granted I did that in a week, you know, I felt the same way, and I'm looking at the photos that I had back then, I'm like, you didn't really look that different, but obviously in your head you think you look so different. So like I said, absolutely nothing against people or her or people who post stuff like that, but that it's another thing that kind of hits hard for me to see, like people complaining about what seems like such a small change when I'm here dealing. Granted, I did it to myself too, and that's another like punch to the gut, like you also did this to yourself. It's not like someone else did this, you did this to yourself. And so like it just kind of, you know, when I'm feeling good and I see that, it's like, right, yeah, you really messed this one up, bud. Seeing posts like that, sometimes seeing myself in mirrors, it's kind of crushing, but you just have to get out of your head. You have to put yourself in perspective and figure out what really matters. So I gained a bit of weight, so I'm a little heavier now. It's not permanent. It's obviously something that I'm not gonna give up doing and just let progress until like it gets really, really bad and I start getting health issues. Just know if this is something else that you are going through, you're like, oh, I've gained all this weight, and you feel hopeless and like it's just out of your control, just don't give up, because then it really is out of your control, you know? Just don't actually give up. Just keep, it's frustrating. I know. I get it. It's so frustrating, but you have to keep going. You can't give up. You really can't. You know, for me, I know that I'll get through this. I'm strong enough to get through this. I've done it, and I'm nowhere near in the mindset I was back a year ago. And that right there already shows a huge difference, that, you know, I'm not someone who's just trying to jump into a cut or get into a deficit. I really hope, I mean, obviously I do hope I don't gain any more weight. I don't want to gain any more weight. I would like to kind of get it fully under control. That's obviously what's ideal, but because I think I started this whole thing at 142, and it took me a whole year, and just to get back up to that weight in a matter of weeks would be absolutely devastating. It took me a year and then a couple weeks just to gain it all back. That would be crushing. That'd really be hard. So I'm close. I'm about 6 pounds from getting there. Other than the psychological feeling, like I can feel it, especially like right here around my chest. Like when I'm doing like rows, like I can feel like my skin kind of getting in, like the fat getting in the way of rowing, going through the full motion. And then other than that, I think just my breast, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like big breasts. Not that I'm still a B cup, but I've definitely seen the most change and gain, probably my stomach and then my chest. And that is also something that makes me feel kind of uncomfortable, because I can feel that it's bigger, and I'm just, it's not something you can like take off, and that it's just, it makes me physically kind of like uncomfortable when I can feel it. That's honestly where I'm at right now. I'm at 135 pounds, about probably 6 or 7-ish weeks post show, and we're gonna get through it. It's normal. I know it's normal. It's fine. I have to accept it. It happened. I move on. I do better. I learn. That's all I can really do. I need to make sure I don't freak out, go into a cut before my body's like recovered. Need to figure out how I can get back to being, not that I'm not healthy, but you know, having control over myself and not just blacking out and eating everything in sight. So that's kind of my thoughts on what I've gone through. Obviously, there is a much better way of doing this, where you do gain not a lot of weight from because you're binge eating and you successfully go through your reverse diet and you're back to a really good maintenance weight. Hopefully that's what it's gonna be like for me after my next show. That's what we're hoping for, but I'm really just taking all this in and learning what my triggers are, and just hopefully we'll have a better experience next time. Still working on it though. We're still going. We're not there yet in recovery, because I think my body's pretty good, but I think mentally with the sweets, we're still working some stuff out. So, but no, that's been my experience with my post-show weight gain. It's a lot of mental, it's a bit of physical, not a lot of physical, because I don't really look at myself in the mirror all that much. It's only when I can like feel it when I'm working out, or if I see myself in the mirror in like some barely there fabric outfit and I'm like, oh yeah, you can't see any lines. So that's pretty much where I'm at. We're not giving up. You shouldn't either if you're going through something similar. It's frustrating, I get it. Keep going. You'll get it. At some point, we'll get it. I'm looking forward to that day. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you next week. Bye.